Hey, everybody, welcome back to PMS, the Perpetual Motion Squad, a Big Bang Theory fan podcast. And we are your hosts, married couple and Big Bang Theory super fans, Kat
And Paul
and
and Pikachu as she goes to shove him
It's a
onto the
good thing this
screen.
isn't a video podcast.
I'm telling you, we are going to be doing a video podcast in the next, I'd say, at least the next couple of weeks. So, you'll have to tune in. Well, you don't even have to tune in for that because it will be on Spotify. So if you're listening to us on Spotify, you'll be able to see us in all our video glory.
Mm,
So you can either watch us do it, or you can, yeah, just listen to us. But
yeah.
yes, we're going to do that
I'll
in a
have to
couple of
blur my
weeks.
background so they don't see my messy office.
No, they don't. That they will be here enjoying your messy office, and it's
Mhm.
not messy. Believe me, with what I've got in the back of me, it's not messy at all.
No,
So
it's not.
no,
No.
not at all. So now before we get started on this episode, last was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We had questions. Now,
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
I'll
So
check the email while you're doing
no,
that.
so I've already done that one. So season one, episode 15, the pork chop indeterminacy. We had no replies on that one. The week after that, season one, episode 16, the peanut reaction. We had no answers on that one. But last week, season one, episode number 17, the tangerine factor, we had two answers on the question, what's the most memorable or awkward first date you ever had?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so the first answer we got was from Michael, and he said, "I don't think that would be appropriate to share on a family-friendly show."
Bow
So,
chicka wow wow.
Michael, if you want to email us directly at perpetualmotionsquad00
We want to
at
know.
gmail.com, we'd love to know what the hell.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Craig sent us an answer, and it's really I'm gonna just gonna read it, and I want you to
Okay.
work out the end of this. Okay. So he says, I can't say that a single date was awkward, but the first three dates I had with the woman that I am now with were odd. Okay.
Okay.
Our first
Somehow
date,
with Craig, I believe that.
yeah, now our first date was at a
Love
small
you,
diner.
Craig.
Our first date was at a small diner in which we were supposed to meet at noon, and she showed up at 12:20. Oh,
Oh,
don't know about that, Craig. The next day, since I could not get her out of my head, I texted her and we met for drinks that evening at around 10 p.m. Okay, that was
yeah.
lovely. It was late because I later found out she was on another date prior to us meeting. Ooh, the the plot as just like my
Well, but
gravy
they weren't
thickens.
they weren't connected at that point, so that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm,
She's single, she's a free agent, she's allowed to have as many dates in a day as she wants.
Chihuahua.
Hmm.
We arranged to have dinner the next evening, and she was 90 minutes late.
How
Craig, I don't know how you're doing it, man.
were you even still there?
I wouldn't have been there after 90 minutes. And
No,
it
I
was,
would have
and it,
given them maybe 30 if I really liked them, but that's it.
well, obviously he couldn't get her out of his head, so he
Yep.
decided to give her the benefit of the doubt. He
Yep.
said, and it was at this point that I knew I really liked this woman.
Yeah.
After waiting all those times, Craig, yeah. But I don't know whether I would have given her 90 minutes. That's a
Yeah,
grace
that's
period that I probably would have gone, okay, I'm don't
oh,
know.
okay. So I remember one time I was supposed to it was for the first date and we were supposed to meet up after I finished this class that I was taking on a Saturday and the class was running late and I texted him to let him know that I was going to be late so I at least let him know
Yeah.
and he basically got pissed off, canceled the date, and I never went out with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh
But
my
then again, this
God.
was the guy who also felt that I was being too immature and childish by wearing a Winnie the Pooh jacket.
Okay. Well, look, here's
So
the thing.
obviously not a good match.
No, that is not a good match. And after this podcast, I'm gonna do a little bit of an announcement, a two-parter announcement, that Kat doesn't know about yet. So
What?
no, I was gonna say that. Okay, first of all, there's nothing wrong with wearing a Winnie the Pooh jacket. Okay.
It was a beautiful denim
Yeah.
jacket, quilted, and oh, it
Yeah.
was
So
gorgeous.
so if there are anybody out there that actually loves things like obviously Kiss or collecting toys or stuff like that, I'm the person to come to and hang out with. So if you are that kind of person that collects really unique things or just doesn't want to grow up and be an adult because adulting sucks.
Some days it does.
It really does. Look, you can reach out to me at perpetualmotionsquad00@gmail.com. Don't be afraid to do that because I'm okay. I'm not going to bite you. Um, and if you are, if you are wanting to share a passion that you have, be it toys, be it rock groups, be it whatever, let me know because it's okay there are people like Kat has just said that looks another person goes, oh, that's far too immature because you do this or that. Don't let those people rain on your happy because they are the insignificant people. People would look at me and go, okay, so you not only collect Kiss stuff, but you now collect toys, you collect Pokemon cards, you collect Hot Wheels cars. What are you, three? Guess what? I'm not going to be on this planet forever.
He
And
engages his inner 3-year-old.
yeah, and you know what? It is the stuff that makes me extremely happy.
Yeah.
I come into my room and I have got, I don't have a huge amount of toys, but I'm starting to collect, toys, and I've got a decent amount. I've got Kiss up the wazoo. I have got Pokemon
Boy, is that
cards.
true.
I have got, a wall of, Hot Wheels cars. So it is okay to do the things that you enjoy. So, if you are that kind of person that sits there and goes, I don't really, I've got nobody to share my passion with or, no, or the fun of collecting toys or whatever, just let me know. Just reach out to me and say, hey, is there any chance that, we could just do like a Zoom chat and just talk about the stuff that we enjoy? And you never know, we might become really good friends. But
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there to everybody. Don't let anybody ruin your happy. So if you are interested in reaching out to me and sharing the stuff that you enjoy doing and collecting, then reach out
Yep.
to me. I am here
Absolutely.
waiting for you. So,
Yep.
so yeah, but no, there are people that I mean, I was just saying to Kat because we were watching this episode that it's basically at the end of the episode, but I saw there was a girl that I met at a doctor's surgery, and she was a receptionist at the time. I didn't realize that she was going through medical school, and we went out for it wasn't dinner. It was basically like um an early, like, I don't know what you'd call it.
Like
It
a
was
late
just like,
lunch.
yeah, very late lunch, but it was just like just nibbles. It
Very
wasn't
casual.
yeah, very casual. And she said, I'm having a really great time. And I'm like, yep, I'm having a really lovely time too. She said, it's just such a shame it can't go anywhere. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she said, well, I'm studying to be a doctor. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, and you're just a courier. And I'm like, okay. And she said, and you're not studying to be a doctor. And I'm like, and she said, so you can sort of see where I'm going with this. She said, we can't date because you are not studying to be a doctor. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it was that. I mean, as I said to Kat, I think it was basically just a
Well, my question to Paul is if she already knew you were a courier, so why was she going out with you?
as I said when I told you the story, it was just a free meal. That's all it was. And the funny thing is that she resigned about 6 weeks after our date, and we were still very cordial when I would see her at the doctor's surgery. Um, And I did, say that, that date was really, I really enjoyed it. And she's like, yeah, me too. But I never ever pushed the issue of going out on a second one because I was basically told wholeheartedly,
Well, why would
no
you when
chance.
she decided she's a
Oh,
snob who's better than you?
oh, there are some people that would probably try and, see if it was just a one-off or maybe she was having a bad day or whatever it was. But, there are some people that would sit there and go, you know what, I'm going to try for a second date. But, once I was told, and funny enough, with what you said, Mum said the exact same thing. Why would you even bother trying to go out or be with such a shallow person
Yeah,
like she
exactly.
is?
And then
So
there's me who wouldn't let you break up with me.
I was saying and I showed Kat an episode of Seinfeld where George is trying to break up with this girl. And so he says to her, listen, things are really, not working out. So I think we should break up. And the woman goes, yeah, no. And he goes, what? And she goes, no. And he goes, but we're trying to break up. And she goes, no, we're not. And he goes, well, I'm trying to break up with you. And she's like, no, you're not. And he goes, oh, okay. So that is exactly what Kat did. Is like, I'm trying to say, I don't think this is going to be, I don't know what I was saying. I was saying something stupid. I think it was fear more than anything because I had been so devastatingly injured in my previous marriage.
Yeah.
And there I am trying to get out of a relationship with Kat, and she's like, yeah,
Mm,
no,
yeah.
no, you're not going anywhere. It's like, but no,
No.
no, not happening.
Nope. Not
And then I'm
happening.
like, okay. And all these years later, I'm still haven't got parole, damn it. I'm still
So you
incarcerated.
want out now?
Nope. No, 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 I can't. I don't want to go out because when I'm out, I am not dating. So it would just be me and my toys. And
Hmm.
any woman that would come to me and say, nope. But I really, nope.
But
But I,
but well,
I like,
I'm just saying, do you still want to break up with me?
no, of
Sure
course
about that?
not. Definitely.
Okay.
I'm going to starve to death.
Okay. On that happy note, 15 minutes in, shall we start the podcast?
Yes, why not? So what we are doing
Season
season
2, Episode 1, The Bad Fish Paradigm. We made it to season 2. Oh God, you're nuts.
she's like I should never ever have shown him
How
how
to
to
share
share my
sound.
screen, share the sound. So I'm going to stop sharing now, so you're free and clear of that. Yeah.
Okay.
So because you were terrified about the possibility of me just going crazy with that sound effect.
Which you did.
Well, kind of, but it's all good.
Yeah, so I love how it basically picks up at the end of the evening where
Yeah,
where
one ended.
season 1 ended.
Yeah.
And I
Now,
do love that dress she's wearing. I would love
yeah,
to wear
now
that.
Kat said last week, let's pay attention to when they come back from the date. Are they wearing the same outfit that they were?
And
And they
yes, they
were.
were.
Yeah. So,
So it's the same night.
yeah, same night. And look, I think it's as I said to you, the reason that I told that story about that girl that I went on a one date with, and because she was a doctor, it definitely plays into the end of the episode, which we'll get to. But we see that Leonard and Penny are returning from their first date, and as they go to they're walking up the stairs, and Penny is trying to offer
Well, no,
Leonard.
we don't know that. He's talking about how frozen yogurt is made
Yeah.
and
And she says, well, that doesn't really answer my question. He goes, what was the question again? She said, do you want some? And he goes, well, no, lactose intolerant plus,
oh, that's right.
gas.
It was fat-free ice cream.
Yeah, lactose intolerant plus gas. And she's like, yeah, I got it. And he goes, good, good night. And they go to do the good night kiss. And above the elevator, and I said to Kat, this is how long do you think the date would have been? Let's say, at a rough
Let's
estimate.
say 2.5 hours.
Okay, so in 2.5 hours, Howard decides to install a webcam above the elevator in on the landing where the apartments are. So as they do the goodnight kiss, you can see it from the camera's point of view of what's going on. So Leonard is trying to move Penny away from the eye of the camera, but of course with Howard, you wouldn't think it would be a static camera. It would
It's a
be a moving one.
360 camera.
There's a 360, so it's following, and of course, then we get a very close-up shot of Penny's cleavage
Cleavage,
area.
which is
And
very nice.
yes, I was okay with it.
Penny
So
Penny has lovely cleavage.
yeah, so there is Leonard trying to, and of course she's like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, there was a draft," and she said, "I didn't feel a draft." And he goes, well, "Why don't we just go into your apartment?" And she goes, maybe we should slow down." He goes, "No, I
Yeah,
didn't mean to go."
that would as Penny, that would feel a little, oh wow, he already wants to go there, and it's like, no.
Okay, I first thought that,
Mhm.
but look at Penny's track record. Okay. How many men, and she has even said herself that a lot of relationships are very fast for her. It's like meeting and we're into bed basically
Right.
immediately.
She
So
so she's probably thinking, oh, he wants to follow the track of all the other guys, but I want this to be different.
yeah, but
I get where she's coming from.
if you were following the train of thought that Penny was on,
Hmm.
with the fact that Leonard has seen so many guys come and go into her apartment, if he was that kind of guy, which we know that Leonard's not,
Not
but if Leonard was that kind of guy, then why was Penny so, hesitant about going down that path?
because she wants him to be different.
Yeah, but her regular track record is all these guys that just
Yeah,
want to
which
jump
is
into
why
bed.
she doesn't want him
Yeah,
to come
yeah,
in
I
and she
know.
wants him to be
Yeah,
different.
but she does say, and he goes, "Well, I didn't mean to go into your apartment to, speed up." And she says, "Oh," and you can see the relief on his, but there is
Yeah.
definitely a misunderstanding that
Yeah.
Leonard's suggesting that they go to bed after the first date. And as she said, it's only our first date and stuff, and so and basically tells him maybe we can slow things down. And of course, this is where Leonard comes up with an equation about where we think we're going to
Yeah.
go, and so it's the confidence of Penny knowing that okay,
Oh,
he's okay with
say
we're
that
not going to
again
speed
because you
up.
froze and
And
you got really choppy.
oh, Penny is understanding now that Leonard is not that kind of guy, that he's willing to take things slow and it's not going to be a hindrance on the relationship going forward.
Yeah.
When she says, we take things slowly, he's not going to suddenly say, "Oh, well, so I'm not going to get into bed with you." Okay, and then
No.
never call her again. She knows that. So she's got the confidence in knowing that it's okay. So they do another good night kiss, and Penny goes into her apartment. Of course, this is where Leonard looks at the webcam, very, very upset, which I completely
Yeah, I
understand.
loved that look on his
Yeah.
face.
And of course, then the camera then switches to the obviously that we see the inside of Sheldon and Leonard's apartment, and Howard and Raj are sitting on the sofa with the computer in front of him,
Raj
and
in Sheldon's spot.
Raj sitting but then again, Sheldon's not using it, so
Doesn't
but
matter. He
I
does,
know.
but if he was paying attention, he would have told him to move.
Yeah. But as we're seeing that Leonard is coming into the apartment, Roger's like, quick, screensaver, screensaver. And as Leonard enters the apartment, those two make it so casually obvious that they were looking at the computer.
Yeah.
And this is where he says to Howard goes, "Oh, hey, you're back early from your date." And he goes, "Yeah, bite me." And he goes over to Sheldon and he goes, "Why didn't you, stop what they were doing?" He goes, "Well, um, oh, it was something along the lines of that they were doing something completely irrelevant to what I was even
Well, no, they took
interested in."
advantage of my complete
That's
lack
right.
of
Lack of,
interest in what you're doing.
thank you. That's what I was trying. My
Yeah.
brain was trying to compute what he said,
Yeah.
and so, of course, this is where the guys try to convince Leonard that the date went badly because she wants to slow things down.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Well, no," and it's not the fact that it went badly, it's the fact that, she just wants to take things slow.
Yeah.
And as Howard says, when we look back at this uh the video that we just shot, it's going to be like basically like the black box of your relationship. People are going to sit there and analyze what exactly happened. And he's like, "Well, no, it's fine." He said, he just wants to take it slowly and see where it
Yeah.
goes, which is completely fine. But of course, Howard then decides to, as he says, let's go to the tape. And he sees that there is no pupil dilation, there's no respiratory change in her
There's no
breathing pattern.
flushing of her chest.
Yeah. And
Nice
of course,
close up, by the way.
and of course, even Sheldon comes over and goes, um, she's got a clenched jaw, no tongue access, which is basically to do with mating primates or
Yeah.
mating,
Which
yeah,
is not a good sign in mating humans.
mating humans. That's right. So this is where he goes, no, it's like, you want to enjoy if you're out at a nice restaurant and he goes, you want to slow down and savor the meal. And Howard's like, no, it means that this fish tastes funky and I want to slow down and spit it out.
Yeah.
So this whole thing is starting to really play on Leonard's mind. Is it really, did I do something wrong? But he's
Yeah.
like, no, 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 I didn't do anything wrong whatsoever. And he does say to Howard, and of course, as Leonard's going to bed and going to his bedroom, he does say to Howard, take down the camera. And as he's walking away, Raj says, "Wow, it was a lot more fun when he had no,
It was a lot.
um,
He was a lot more fun
well,
when he was lonely.
yeah, when he had no hope."
Yeah,
That's right.
that's right.
Yeah.
And Howard's like, give him time.
So the next scene we see is Sheldon is down in the laundromat and he is doing his laundry. And this is the very first time that we see the clothes folder.
Which, by the way, is available for sale on Amazon. You can get
Which
one on
by the
Amazon.
Yeah, but which by the way, Kat has got the original one. She's
I
got
have
the
the
official.
official Big Bang Theory folding board, which has never going to be taken out of its plastic wrap.
Yes, and that one I paid quite a lot of money for.
We don't want to
Um,
know.
no, we don't want to know. I don't
We
want to
really
tell you.
don't want to know.
But yeah, so it was funny enough. After this episode, Kat said, "Oh my God, I'd really love to," and I scoured the internet trying to find one, and I found one. Locally, the
I
lady
was
was
just
selling.
thinking I wanted one to use, not the official Sheldon one.
I know,
I didn't
but
think there was an official Sheldon one.
well, I just was scouring and luckily I found one locally here in Adelaide that a lady was selling. So I
Oh,
met her
I
in a
didn't
in a
realize it
parking
was
lot. I remember where the
located
parking lot
locally.
was as well. Yeah, yeah, I remember where I met her in the parking lot, and yeah, I bought it then and there. So yeah, and she'd never opened it. She said that because I said to her, "How did you come about it?" She said, "Well, I bought it when we were watching The Big Bang Theory," but she said I just never got around to opening it because she said it was a Big Bang Theory thing, and she said I don't open
I
stuff
can't
that I
believe she
collect.
actually charged as much for it if she didn't understand what it was worth.
Yeah, well, it wasn't cheap, put it that way.
I know.
So, well, and I'm okay with buying things for you. So as we see, Penny comes in to do her laundry, and Sheldon does exclaim that there is a couple of machine. One machine is releasing the fabric softener too early, and there's another
One, the hot
machine.
water's not working
Yeah,
properly.
so don't use,
So,
that.
okay, so colors only, avoid that one. And then she just dumps everything into the fourth machine.
Yeah, and of course he's like, "Oh, good, you might as well just take it down to the river and beat it with a rock."
Yeah.
And this is where she says, "Can I ask you a question?" And he goes, "Well, I don't,
I
I
prefer that you
you
didn't, but not
don't."
to go so far as to forbid it.
Yeah. So she says, "Well, I don't know. I heard yes." And she says, "Has Leonard ever dated a regular girl?" And he's like, and
I
one that
assume you
basically,
don't mean um regular as in um what's
not doing being lactose intolerant.
no, as in pooping regularly.
Yes, yeah. And she says, has he ever dated a girl that hasn't had like a fancy degree? And he said, well, he did date
No, that's
one.
not a brainiac like
Not
you
a
guys.
brainiac like you guys. And he said, well, he did date a girl that had a PhD in literature,
French
French
literature.
literature. And she goes, how is that not a brainiac? And he goes, well,
For
she
one thing,
was
she was French.
French and it was literature.
Yeah.
And of course, as they're going along and as he's still folding his laundry, you see that Penny takes his socks and rolls it up into a little squishy ball and puts it down. So as he's talking, he picks up the socks and he looks at her like, what the? What? And he goes to say, "What, did you?" And he's like, "No, don't worry about it. I'm not going to worry
And
about it."
and he very gently, like to not attract her attention, undoes what she did and then puts them in the clothes folder.
And folds the socks. That is awesome.
Ah, that's hilarious.
So this is where she says to Sheldon that she lied to Leonard about graduating from community college, feeling
Because
that
he
he
was
wouldn't.
going on and on about this college and that college, and she just didn't want him to think he was going out with a dumb loser.
Yeah, and of course Sheldon's like, so your idea was about not graduating from community college.
So your idea of not being a dumb loser is community college?
And so she goes, well, there's a lot of people that graduate from community college, and he goes, yes, but you're neither one of those.
Well, no, a lot of successful people who
Successful
have
people.
graduated from community college. And then he's
And
like, but you're neither of those things. And
so this is where she says
uh,
that that basically you need to keep this secret. I need you to, because we're friends, I need you to keep this secret for me.
and
Don't
I
tell Leonard.
and I don't blame him for being a little upset. It's like he actually was right. You should tell him that you want to share something with him that you don't want Leonard to know. Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, actually, before we get there, I remember I forgot something. So she lied about to him about graduating from community college, and this is where Sheldon thinks that maybe Leonard will get sick of Penny since she doesn't says that she's not smart. So he
Yeah.
goes, do you have an understanding working of particle physicists and physics? And she goes, no. And he goes, do you speak Klingon? And she goes,
Well,
no.
no.
And he goes, do you know any card tricks?
She's like,
And as she
okay,
says,
okay, I get
okay,
it.
I get it. I've got
No
no
chance.
business, dating, someone like Leonard. But this is where she comes up with the idea is like, please don't tell Leonard about this, and he said,
Yeah.
hang on a minute, you mean you want me to keep a secret? And she goes, well, yeah, we're friends. I need you to keep this secret. And
And
as
he's like,
Kat
okay,
said,
so it is implied that in a friendship you do the secret keeping thing. And she's like, yes. And he's like, when did we become friends?
which is a valid question. When
Ah,
did we become friends?
yeah.
But as you did say, this whole thing could have been handled a lot better because if Penny
But
had have said, "Can I ask you a small favor?"
yeah. And okay, now in Penny's defense, she didn't know what Sheldon is like.
No, she didn't. No, she
I mean,
didn't understand
she
that.
doesn't know him that well yet.
Not yet, no. But still, I mean,
But I,
how
but
would
I,
you go
but I,
about it?
but I loved his line of, if I try to keep a secret, I end up with more ticks than a Lyme disease research facility.
That's right. Yes. So, but I mean, how would you go about it if you wanted someone to keep a secret? Would you say to them, you know,
Okay, I want to ask you about something, but I don't want Leonard to know about it. Are you okay with that?
right, okay, that would be a good idea. Yeah. And then that gives him the opening to say, I'm not comfortable with it and I can't keep secrets, so please
Yeah.
don't tell me, or I don't want to be involved with this.
Yeah.
And
And it would have given him an option.
yeah. And at least if he had have said, I don't want to be involved with this, then there would have been no dramas.
Yeah.
It would have still kept their friendship, even though he doesn't know that they're
But
friends.
it would have been a more respectful way of dealing with it.
Yeah, plus it would have given Penny the option of in future, if there are any other secrets that she wants kept, that she could then go to somebody else or keep it to herself or speak to a girlfriend.
Yeah.
But don't go
Don't talk
to
to Sheldon.
Sheldon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that regard, that would have actually been a lot easier. But as you said, she doesn't know what Sheldon's like. We all know what Sheldon's like 'cause we've seen this series so many times. But in this early, you know, incarnation of Sheldon, we don't know that he is incapable of keeping secrets.
Yeah. This is
So
the first time we learn about this.
yeah. So the next scene we see is the following day
Well, no,
is
she just says to him, "You're going to have to figure out a way to deal with this."
oh, that's
And
right.
the next thing is we see Sheldon coming in and saying to
Mm,
Leonard, "I'm
was
moving."
that no?
Mhm.
No, because aren't they? No, because Sheldon and Leonard are walking upstairs, and he's talking about the startup
Right,
capital
right, right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
is that if he had enough money, he could be Batman, and of course Leonard's like, really, you
I'm
can be Batman?
Batman.
He goes, I'm Batman,
See?
and we see that
Well, no,
Penny,
because no, he says that he couldn't be which one?
I was Iron Man.
Uh,
It's
no.
it's somebody that he couldn't be, but with enough startup capital,
Yeah, but
he could
all
become
and a
Batman.
decent research facility, I could be Batman. Now, you probably already know this, but Kaylee Cuoco did the voice of Harley Quinn on the animated series.
I certainly did know that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Mark Hamill was the Joker.
yeah, she does a really good Harlequin.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I like her on that one. Um, so the next scene we see is, as I said, they're walking. Sheldon and Leonard are walking upstairs, and they're talking about the startup capital and that Sheldon could be Batman. And Penny is coming downstairs going to work, and Leonard says, I was wondering if you're not busy on, Saturday night or Friday night, we could go out to a movie. And she's like, well, I'm not really sure. I might have the dinner shift. And he goes, well, maybe Saturday night. And she goes, well, I'm not really
the
sure. The
manager
manager
hasn't
hasn't
posted
posted
the
the schedules yet, but can I let you know? And he goes, yeah, okay. And so he turns around and he's like following her half, a little bit down the stairs. And then he comes back to Sheldon saying, oh my God, I am the bad
bad
fish.
fish.
What did I do wrong? And he's like, well, I don't know. I've got absolutely no ideas of what's going on. I don't have
I
any.
don't have a back channel to know what she's talking about,
Yep.
and
And runs upstairs and he's like,
yeah,
"What does that mean?" So he runs up.
literally runs away.
Yeah, because of course, obviously, as we see, Sheldon is starting to try and Sheldon's trying to start to avoid Penny, even with eye contact, because he's standing next to Penny and to Leonard, and Sheldon is against the wall of the elevator, looking all over the room, as just not
Well,
making eye contact
Penny
with her.
looks to Sheldon for, almost like for advice or support, and he just completely looks away from her.
Because as he said, if I get
I
these
can't.
nervous ticks, I
Yep.
can't do it, so I'm trying to hold this secret. So as we see, he runs upstairs, and so they go into the apartment, and Sheldon is being almost questioned about what the hell's going on. And at one stage, he starts to have this nervous tick on one side of his face, and Leonard goes, "What's wrong with your face?" And he goes, "I don't think there's any reason to bring my looks into this." And so Leonard's got no point of reference whatsoever about what's going on. So the next scene we see is that Penny is now at the Cheesecake Factory, and she's, showing the people that are wanting to order something the specials of the day. And of course, this is where Sheldon comes in and says to Penny, "You need to release me from my oath." And she goes, "Sheldon, I'm working." And he says to the people at the table, maybe take some time and think what
Think
you're
it
on.
over.
Think it over, and drags her over to the side. And he goes, "Listen, I cannot keep your secret. I need to be released from this." And she says, "You've got to keep this secret." And he blurts out the fact that he was
Denied
denied,
clearance.
yeah, at a secret research facility in where it
Oh,
was in
okay.
Michigan somewhere.
Sheldon's slip about being denied clearance to a secret research facility might actually be true.
Yes, it might.
There was a secret government funded military super collider hidden beneath a fake agricultural station 12.5 miles southeast of Traverse City, Michigan, in the Traverse City forest area until 1993.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, super sleuths out there, if you live in Travis, Michigan, go and find that facility. So after that, we see that Sheldon then goes, and of course we find out, that Penny says, "Look, you're going to have to find some way to keep this secret because that's all there is to it." And the next scene we see is Sheldon walks into the apartment and says, "Leonard, I'm moving out." And he's like, I think that's a bit of an
Yep.
overreaction, but this is Sheldon. We're going to go with it. So he's like, why? And he goes, "There doesn't have to be a reason." He goes, "Well, yeah, there sort of does." And he goes, "No, it's just basically I'm moving out because I'm moving out." And he says, "I'm going to go pack." So then all of a sudden, Raj and Howard come into the apartment, and we find out that Raj and Howard have been to a museum where we've got skinless cadavers. It's some sort of museum exhibit.
It's a science exhibit, like at
Yeah.
the science museum.
And Howard says something so inappropriate.
I've actually been to one of those. It was really cool. It was
It would have
very
been really
interesting.
wonderful to see.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
But what does Howard say?
Some of those skinless chicks were hot. Oh, Howard.
And of course, of course, Sheldon is standing there at this stage, and he says, "I'm going to go pack." And Howard goes, "Well, that's a rather overreaction to a harmless little bit of necrophilia." And he goes, "No, apparently he's moving out." And of course, they run through a whole gamut of stuff like, did you take a band-aid off in front of him? Did you make fun of him of trains? Did you change the thermostat on the heater? Did you change the brightness or the contrast on the
On the
television?
TV. Yeah.
Yeah, did you talk to him when he was in the bathroom? Did you pronounce the T in often?
Yeah. Oh, you're frozen,
Is
honey.
it,
You
sorry?
froze.
Oh no, did
You
you
froze right after the tea and often.
oh, did you yeah, did you buy generic ketchup? And he's like, "No, I didn't do any of that." And we find out that he's just moving out because he's moving out. Then all of a sudden he comes out with a bag that he's already packed, and of course this is where Leonard goes, "Well, that was fast." And he goes, "Well, no, was recommended by the Pasadena Disaster Council." Oh, and also Sarah Connor. And
Oh, now the Department of Homeland Security does actually recommend having a pre-packed disaster evacuation bag.
yeah, which we see more in the series, don't we?
Yep. It's tip number 12 of their top 30 and containing necessary supplies for 3 days. Now, Sarah Connor may not officially recommend one, but it's likely she would not be opposed since she spent a fair portion of her life trying to warn people that Judgment Day was fast approaching.
Okay, the reason that I'm just going to say this is because it wasn't okay. It wasn't a emergency bag, but it was an emergency stash of weapons. In
Yeah.
part two, when they drive into the desert, she goes to a guy that she's actually friends with, and the Terminator is with the young John Connor, and the Terminator pulls this chain, and there's a secret underground bunker, and there is weapons up the wazoo.
Yeah.
So that's her pre-packaged survival kit, is all these weapons under the ground. So even though you don't see Sarah saying this is a bag that you should actually have in readiness, the weapons were her readiness.
Yes.
That's what she
Yes.
was doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the confusion's got, because I know a lot of Terminator fans out there, like myself, have always sat there and gone, hang on, I don't ever remember Sarah, recommending to anybody about a disaster kit with a bag. But then if you think about it and if you look at Judgment Day, that's when you see the stash of weapons
Yeah, it totally
underground.
makes sense.
Yes, it does. So this is where Leonard says, "So okay, so what are you going to do?" And he goes, "Well, while I'm trying to find somewhere where to go, I will stay with friends." And he looks lovingly towards Howard and Raj, which Howard then goes, "Bye,"
I'm out. Bye.
and runs out. And this is where Raj goes, "Oh, you can't stay with me. I've got a teeny tiny apartment." And he goes, "Isn't the now I'm going to get this wrong. Isn't the
Hang on. Let me
the
grab the
the, the
quote. Let me see if I can find the quote.
Yes, it's the Indian household, but there's something that he says about the Indian household.
Hold on.
Yeah, we're gonna mess this up badly if we even try to find it. Sorry for the dead air, everybody. She's
Yeah.
just trying.
Well, talk amongst
Yep,
yourselves.
I'm
Oh, here
trying.
it
No,
is.
there we go.
You can't stay with me. I have a teeny tiny apartment. Excuse me, but isn't hosting guests an aspect of Manashua Yajna, one of the five, and apologies if I killed that, one of the five central religious duties or sacrifices of the Hindu householder? Truth or Polly? I hate trains. Don't
Sheldon.
be silly. You love trains. Yeah, I do. Come on.
And as Sheldon is leaving the apartment, he drops his keys in the bowl and walks out. And this is where Leonard looks around the apartment and goes, "This could work." And
Yeah,
and ja
and stretches out on the couch, sitting in Sheldon's spot, and pops open something to drink.
yeah, pops a can of Coke. So the next scene we see is Sheldon is in Raj's apartment.
Nope, you froze
Building.
again, honey.
No, I'm.
No,
It's
you
okay.
froze.
Okay, okay. So the next scene we see is Sheldon is in Raj's apartment, and Sheldon says, "This is a really old building," and he goes, "Yes, is it 60 years or something?" And he goes, "It used to be a watch factory," and he goes, "Oh." And he goes, "What?" And he goes, "Aren't you worried about the leftover
Residual radium
radium
from
from
the
the
luminous
luminous dial
dials. And he's like, not until now. He's
until
like,
now?"
I can't believe I didn't bring my Geiger counter. I had it on my bed and I
I
didn't
didn't
pack it.
pack it. And
Well,
he's like, "Well,
if you're
if
not
you're not
comfortable
comfortable."
staying here, it's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm kidding. I packed it.
And we see that Raj is watching a Bollywood movie, and he says he basically compares the woman unfavorably to Marjorie Dixit. He
Hang on.
basically he calls Aishwarya Rai a poor man's Marjorie Dixit,
Yeah.
and tells Raj that he doesn't think that he knows too much about Bollywood.
Madhuri Dixit.
That's right. And he says, well, obviously you're not too familiar with Indian cinema.
Well, no, he says Ashwarya Rai is a goddess. By
Goddess.
comparison, Madhuri Dixit is a leprous prostitute.
Yes. And this is when he goes,
And he
well,
says, I didn't mean to offend you. Obviously, you're not that familiar with
with
Indian
Indian
cinema.
cinema.
And the look Raj gives him.
Now, the next scene we see is there is someone knocking on Howard's front door, and Howard is coming out in his silk pajamas, and he's like, "Who is it?" And you hear stripper
Stripper.
crown, and of course, he would go to open the door with stripper crown.
Uh-huh.
And he opens the door, and there is Sheldon standing there with Raj, and Raj is sitting there going, "Tag, you're it," and gives Sheldon to Howard, and he comes back with, "Shouldn't you have just put him into a brown paper bag and set him on fire?" Which basically indicates when kids, and we never did this in Australia because um um uh, Halloween trick-or-treating has not been, I mean, it's only started over the last, say, 12 years that it's actually
Basically, since I
started.
got here,
Yeah, I mean, Kat bought everything here with her. I mean,
apparently so.
we,
Aldi showed up right after I did. Krispy Kreme showed up right after I did. Netflix showed up right after I did.
yeah, Kat basically bought everything. Now,
Yeah.
all we're,
Now if I could just get Trader Joe's.
okay, so she bought Costco as well. So Costco came here as
I don't
well
care
with
about
her,
that.
but you bought Costco
Now
here.
if I could just get them to bring Trader Joe's.
Yeah, and we also need her to bring back to Adelaide Starbucks
Yeah.
because we had Starbucks and then the coffee giants that we've got here in Adelaide, basically pushed Starbucks out. So
Yeah.
Starbucks is only really in Sydney, Melbourne, and Queensland.
Oh
It might be
my
in,
gosh. When I went to Melbourne 2 years ago, I met up with a friend that I hadn't seen for a couple of years because he moved to Melbourne. And we went to and had Starbucks and he just laughed when I almost started to cry.
yeah, Starbucks is really nice. And look, I lived in America for 4 years and I loved my Starbucks. I
Mm,
did do Dunkin' Donuts, but there's nothing like Starbucks. I
no.
mean, Dunkin' Donuts is for the most part, I mean, coffee is very watered down. Like I
Mm,
love my iced coffee, but
yeah.
you start off with a little bit of iced coffee. And by the time you get to the end of it, you're drinking
It's
just cold
ice.
iced water. So there's nothing like Starbucks in the world. So I really wish that, someone that
Although I will say Tim Hortons in Canada will give them a run for their money.
really.
Yeah.
Actually, I another one that I actually did like is where did we had we went to Waffle House, but whereabouts was it? Were we in
It was in the
uh
Midwest.
the Midwest? The
It was
Waffle
Ohio.
House.
That was
Oh,
Ohio.
have we gotten out of Ohio yet?
I know.
Are we still in Ohio?
In an
Because
alternate universe, yes.
we never got, yeah, in an alternate universe we
It
never
takes
made it out.
forever to get across Ohio.
We were driving from Niagara Falls back across to Massachusetts, and
No,
all weren't we?
no, we went to visit we were in Indiana going
Indiana,
back to
sorry.
Massachusetts.
And we went into Ohio, and I reckon for about the good part of like 4 hours, I kept saying to Kat, "Are we out of Ohio yet?" And she's like, "Nope,
No, it
not
took a
yet."
lot longer than 4 hours to get through Ohio.
It was
But
like we just kept going. This place is huge.
but I will say when you're on I-90, I think it's I-90, um, and you cross from Ohio into Indiana, there is a like the first exit, there is this Amish cheese shop.
Which we went to.
And we got some cheese and some fresh bread and oh
Yeah,
God, it was so good.
yeah. I had never been to an Amish shop, and it is really, it's really interesting when you walk into the Amish shop. It was just quiet. There was no music, there was no TV in the corner. It was just a shop.
Yeah, it was
They had
nice.
everything there, but it was just so quiet. And
Yeah.
like, you get so used to going into, like, if you go into a convenience store here in Australia, you walk in and the music is so goddamn loud that they just want you to get out of the store. They don't keep you in there. So you basically walk in, grab what you need to, and get the hell out because you're just so annoyed with how loud the music is in there. And they've got TVs going and shit like that. You walked into the Amish store and it was just, you literally could have dropped a pin and heard it drop.
Yeah.
It was so quiet. So the next scene we see is Sheldon, getting back to the podcast. Sheldon is laying on a blow-up mattress in Howard's bedroom. And he goes, "Are you comfortable?" And he goes, "Yeah, I've never slept on a bouncy castle before. No lumbar support whatsoever." And he goes, something along the lines of, about the fact that he's not comfortable on the air mattress. And he says, "Well, maybe you'd become more comfortable on a park bench." And he goes, "Well, I don't know how you'd get a park bench in here."
I know.
And he goes, "Go to sleep." He goes, "I'm trying to go to sleep." And this is where Howard goes and gets something. He goes, "Get in the bed. We're going to switch." Basically, to get you to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
So Howard now has now taken the air mattress, and Sheldon's now in his bed. and you hear Mrs. Wallowitz yell, "Are you boys roughhousing in there?" And he goes, "No." And he goes, "If you boys don't settle down, I'm not going to have let you have any more sleepovers." And Howard comes back with, "For God's sakes, Mum, I'm 27 years old, and it's not even a school night." So this is where we see that Howard is, sorry, Sheldon is laying in the bed, and he's staring up, and we can't see the ceiling of Howard's bedroom, but apparently he's got a Halle Berry poster of
Of
her as
Catwoman.
Catwoman,
I'm surprised
and
he didn't have mirrors up there.
that yeah, me too. But then again, I mean, how many women is he really getting into the bed there? He claims to be a ladies' man. He's not getting very many ladies. That's for sure.
Mm.
Um, so he starts to compare his top five cat women. And of course, this is where Howard goes, "For God's sake, shut up." And he goes, "I am trying to go." He goes, "Go to sleep." And he goes, "I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm counting cat women." And then he starts with his top X-Men. And this is just getting to the point where Howard is just losing his mind because he's trying to get him to go to sleep. So the next scene we see is there is someone banging on the door continuously on Sheldon and Leonard's apartment. And how Leonard comes to the door, and there is Sheldon standing there going, "Hey, there's my buddy, bud." And no, first he goes, "I'm back," and he walks in, and Leonard says to Howard, "What's with him?" And he goes, "He wouldn't shut up, so I gave him a glass of warm milk and a handful of my mother's Valiums. So tag, you're it." And this is where
No, and he still wouldn't shut up, so
he still
he's
wouldn't shut
yours
up.
now.
Yeah. So this is where you know, he says to he says to Sheldon, "I don't know why you ever left." And he says about
I
the
can't
fact
tell you.
he can't tell you. It's a secret. I promised Penny I wouldn't tell you the secret.
And one of my favorite lines is like, "Well, what secret did Penny tell you not to tell me?" He's like, "Mom smokes in the car. Jesus is okay with it, but we can't tell Dad."
And he goes, "No, the other secret." And he goes, "I'm Batman." Shh.
He's
He
like,
goes,
"No, not
"No,
that."
what is the secret that Penny said?" And he goes, "Okay, but
Okay,
don't
but
tell
you
Leonard."
can't tell Leonard.
And he goes, "I promise." And he says the fact that, she was embarrassed about the fact that she never graduated community college. And he says, "So it really wasn't anything I did. It's that she was just embarrassed." And he goes, "Yes, yeah, about that fact, about the
Yeah.
fact that she never ever completed community college." So the next morning, we see that Leonard goes over to Penny's apartment. Now, this is what I'm saying about what happened with me about the fact that I wasn't a doctor. He goes over and he says to Penny, "Listen, if Howard hadn't have drugged Sheldon, he would have taken it to his grave. But I now know the reason why, he was acting so strangely, and I've got a solution." And he presents Penny with a pamphlet
Brochure.
brochure of the Pasadena City College. And he goes, "See, it's a place for learning, it's a place for knowledge."
This
And
guy's
he
playing hacky sack, and this
and
girl's going to be a paralegal.
paralegal. And she goes, "Right." So she says, um, "So you're saying I'm not smart enough to date you?" And he goes, "No, that's not it at all." And she says, "But for me to date Leonard Hofstadter, I need to have
Some
some sort
kind
of
of fancy
fancy
degree.
degree."
And he's like, "Well, that isn't that fancy. It's City College."
Yeah. And she then turns around and shuts the door on him. And this is where he stands there and he goes, "So I now know what I did wrong." And as he's walking back to the apartment, which I don't understand why they would even move the camera to the front of his apartment door, but the wireless webcam is now above their apartment door. This is where Leonard walks under the camera and goes, "Yeah, bite me." And then, of course, this is where the episode goes black, and that is the end of the episode. So I can sort of see where we've got it that Penny is like, "Hang on a minute. So just because I'm not as she says, a brainiac, just because I don't have this fancy degree, I can't date you. That doesn't make any sense." Now, unfortunately, though, and as I've said to you with that story that I said, there are some very, 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 very insecure people out there,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna put it right here, right now. Cat is, and I don't care what she says. She'll jump up and down and you rant and rave and she'll throw Pikachu at me. I don't care. She is way smarter than I am. There you go. She did throw Pikachu at me, even though I'm on the other side of the screen. But she has got a degree. She is
It's only a bachelor's degree.
It's a degree.
with
She is,
honors.
see, she's just compounding the issue that I've got right now.
Well, I'm
She,
rather proud of the fact that I got a
yeah,
honors.
as you should be.
I graduated magna cum laude.
Yeah, you should be extremely proud. So when you look at the fact of what Kat has achieved in her life as far as her degrees, she shouldn't even be dating me because she should be dating somebody of equal intelligence.
I
Now,
am. Just because you don't have a degree doesn't mean you're not intelligent, honey.
however, what I was going to say is that if Kat was as shallow as some people could be, when Kat and I first met, she would have gone, "Oh, so where did you go to college?" "Oh, I didn't. I didn't graduate high school." "Oh, okay, that's fine." And then we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation because if she was that shallow, she would have gone, "Yeah, he's not on my intellectual level, and I'm not going to be with him."
Well, I always thought that I would end up with someone who had some kind of degree. For some reason, I always assumed I'd marry somebody who worked in an office and wore a suit every day.
Mm,
Um, but admittedly, I was misled when I stalked you and read your Facebook profile and saw Christian Brothers College.
hmm
I was a little misled by that.
Well, in Australia, private schools go by colleges. So, you've
Yeah,
got
so that was
Prince.
his high school.
Yeah, so you've got Prince Alfred College, you've got Ross College. I
Yeah.
went to Christian Brothers College.
Okay,
So,
so I was misled.
no, I put my high school up there.
Yes, I was misled when I read your profile thinking you had a university degree.
Right. However, in Australia,
I
university is
didn't know
no, I know,
that.
I know, but in Australia, university is university. You
I'm not saying that it would have made a difference. It just might have made me reconsider momentarily.
Mm, okay,
Um,
interesting.
but just because of my own preconceived notions. But fortunately, I am someone who bases things more on the person that you are and show yourself to be rather than your CV.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing is that if you've
And
got
it's about
people.
time you said that. I was wondering when you were going to get around to saying that you were glad that I was not a person like that.
No, I've always been glad that you're not a shallow person like that
I,
because there are shallow people out there. And
well,
as a,
I know, but you've told the story of this woman in that date 6 times in this episode, and then finally mentioned the fact that you're glad I'm not one of them.
I'm very glad you're not one of them. I was getting to that.
You're
The fact that
missing my point.
no, I know what you're saying, sweetie. Um,
Things I
but yeah,
have to deal with.
but yeah, so but even if I don't have a fancy degree, I work my ass off and I'm
He
very
does.
loyal and I'm very good at what I do. I work and the funny thing is I work in the medical industry. I am a phlebotomist, which is if anybody wants to know, I'm a blood nurse. I can take blood out of people. I can read electrocardiographs. I've gone to medical school to
Yeah,
do
and I still have to
surgery
deal with Paul's
as well.
insecurities saying I'm not a smart man.
But I know what love is, Jenny. But yeah, so I find it interesting that Penny has got that scenario of, yes, you think I'm not smart enough to date you. She may not have the school smarts, but what Penny lacks in school smarts, she has in life smarts, and she
Yeah.
is a lot smarter than Leonard is in life. And those two complement each other because Leonard's got the school smarts, Penny has got the life smarts. Together they make a complete person.
Kind of like us.
Yeah. So,
Which, by the way, Pasadena City College does actually exist and does offer paralegal studies if you wanted to attend, even if Penny doesn't.
okay. And I also didn't realize that they've actually named a street after the Big Bang Theory called the Big Bang Theory Way.
Yeah, I posted that in the
Yeah,
group.
you did. I saw that.
Yeah.
That was
I
awesome.
thought that was awesome. It's like, how cool is that?
We need to go to
When we go to
Pasadena.
California, we are going to Pasadena and we're going to take pictures with that sign.
Yes. And when we do go to America, we do want to try and catch up with some of our listeners
Yeah.
if you want to catch up for a Starbucks coffee. So, yes, we're going to go and have Starbucks. So, yeah, I like this episode. It is moving the characters along, but as we can see, Penny is very nervous about the fact of dating Leonard because he's got this degree and she's insecure about herself. But when you look at it, Penny shouldn't be insecure about herself.
Neither should you.
No, but I'm not talking about me. Get
I
off
know, but
me.
you
We're
you
not
have the
talking about
same
me.
insecurity, so of course I'm allowed to talk about you.
Okay, we're not talking about me. We're talking about Penny right now.
Hmm.
With regards to Penny, she is insecure about herself, but she shouldn't be.
Yep.
So, do we have any fun facts, crazy credits, or our food this week?
Okay, so we had another. Okay, so we're going to count their dinner, Penny and Leonard's date. We're going to count that, knowing that they went to a restaurant
Mm-hmm.
and take away ice cream. So that's our food for the week.
Okay.
Not a real food heavy episode.
No, it wasn't this week.
Our question of the week.
Yeah.
What is the silliest or most random secret you've ever kept from someone you were dating, at least for a little while?
Man, I can't answer this one because I've
It's
not.
still a secret. What
No, I
haven't
can't.
you told me?
Nothing. I can't
What
even
haven't you
remember.
told
What haven't I told her? Well, I'm sitting on $100 million. Shouldn't have told you that. No, I actually haven't. That's the problem with me. Okay, this is one of my biggest flaws in the way that I am. I am an open bloody book.
I don't see that as a flaw, honey.
You can read me so well, and I just don't keep secrets from people.
No.
But I just don't feel that there's a need to
Oh,
keep
okay.
secrets
I
from
think
people.
I've told this before, but yeah, Paul has the worst poker face ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
We were
Oh, I know where we're
in
going.
the collectible store, and
Hmm.
I was buying Paul a present,
Yes, she was.
and it was the four original 12-inch Kiss dolls, and they were at 125 a piece, so it was 500 for the four. And at the time, actual value was what,
Uh,
5,000, 20,000,
over 20 grand.
over 20 grand. And we were getting them for 500. This store obviously has no idea what they got. And and I said to Paul, just be cool. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And he's sitting there getting all shifty and looking everywhere and basically looking really guilty, to the point where I looked at him and I said, knock it off or I'm sending you to the car.
Uh-huh. Guess where I almost went to the car.
Uh-huh. And it reminded me of this one commercial. I think it was for like a home loan thing or something. But
Hmm.
anyway, they're going in to look at a house to buy it.
Oh, I remember this ad.
And before they go in the door and meet the realtor, he turns to his wife and he says, now play it cool, because if they think we really like it, they're going to jack the price up.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, got it. I'll be cool. They walk in, and as soon as they do, she's like, and he just basically face palmed. And the realtor just looked at him and was like,
Yeah. I know I've got one when you're freaking out going, oh my God.
yeah. So Paul was that wife.
Oh, look at this. Look at that. It's like,
Hmm.
no, no, you, no. Yeah.
That day you were that wife.
It is really hard to keep, yourself not being excited when you can see something amazing that you want so
Yeah.
desperately, you know? So, I mean, to find the original dolls for that amount of money, because my ex-wife threw all my original stuff out. So to get the original dolls back from 1977, that's a pretty big friggin' deal.
Hmm.
But I was so nervous about the fact that this guy would sit there and go, "Oh, we didn't price that correctly. It's actually this amount of money."
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
just wanted to
he very nearly went out to the car on that one.
I just wanted to get them in my hot little hand to
Hmm.
say, "Oh, it is,
That,
the
and he was
sale
so
is final."
excited that he was getting 20,000 plus worth of value for $500.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
But now I also collect toys as well. So, as I said,
Yes, he does.
if you are excited about collecting toys or, Hot Wheels cars or Pokemon cards or Motu or Teenage
Yeah.
Mutant Ninja Turtles, give me a buzz.
And the day of this recording is Saturday, the 30th of August, 2025.
Hmm.
And tomorrow, the 31st, is Australian Father's Day.
Yes, it is.
So I want to publicly wish Paul, the greatest dad in the world, a happy Father's Day.
Thank you. I'm not the greatest father in the world, but I'm pretty damn close.
Xander, and I think so.
That's true. So yes.
Okay, okay, you may come second to my dad.
All right. Second to Cat's dad.
Yeah.
Outside of that, that's it. I'm the second greatest dad in history.
Yep. Yep, you are.
No, there is a lot of dads out there that are celebrating Father's Day here in Australia tomorrow. So from us at PMS to all the dads out there that I know they'll be listening to this on Monday going, yeah, I had a great Father's Day, or no, I didn't have a great Father's Day. But to all you dads out there here in Australia that will be celebrating
And
Father's
anywhere
Day,
else, happy Australian Father's Day.
yes. Happy Australian Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Okay. So, question: what's the silliest or most random secret you've ever kept from someone you were dating, at least for a little while?
Hmm.
And Chuck Lorre Productions number 215. Mr. Misogyny's tips for breaking the glass ceiling, for breaking through the glass ceiling. Shrill bad, dusky good. No man can happily work or vote for a woman whose voice sounds like a mom or wife yelling at him. Whether running a Fortune 500 company or running for office, women should practice speaking like Kathleen Turner in Body Heat. Or if you have small children present, rent Who Framed Roger Rabbit and check out Jessica Rabbit. Power words. Down through the ages, there have been secret words and phrases that a select group of women have known and used to give them control over men. Use them wisely, and you'll be on the other side of that glass ceiling before you know it. A short list includes panties, huge, amazing, and anything you want, just hurry. For increased effectiveness, say these power words like Kathleen Turner. Boobs. If you got them, flaunt them. If you don't got them, buy them. Caution. This will cause other women to hate you. Do not despair. Once you and your terrific rack are running things, you can fire the jealous bitches. Politically correct flirting. There is no such thing. That being said, if by subtle words or actions you can make a man feel sexually viable, he will act like a fool and you can steal his job. If you think that's cruel, you're not ready to break through the glass ceiling and should instead consider marrying a fat guy with hedge fund money and a history of confusing his erection pills with his heart medication. The views and opinions of Mr. Misogyny are not endorsed, held, or shared by Chuck Lorre Productions, Chuck Lorre, anyone who works for Chuck Lorre, or any of his friends, neighbors, and relatives.
I can imagine him sitting down the end of the week, going, "Okay, I got to come up with a vanity card. What am I going to come up with today?" And go ahead and do that. That's a lot. I don't know how he comes up with half the stuff
With
he
it
comes
before
up with.
Chat GPT.
Yeah, I know. Before, yeah, he actually sat down before
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
these were all written before Chat GPT.
Man,
Yeah.
how he was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
God. So yes, answer the question at perpetualmotionsquad00@gmail.com. You can answer us directly on Spotify in the comments section, or if you're following the Facebook page or group, then you can answer it there. Facebook page, you can answer it because
Yeah, Facebook
it's on the
page is where it
page.
gets
Yeah.
posted.
And next weekend should be, I believe, is our live episode, Everything and Nothing on. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
oh yeah, it is,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's on next weekend, the 7th,
Yep.
our 7th of September. So we'll be going live in the Facebook group. So if you want to come and have a chat with us there, we are going to be live from 9:30 in the morning.
Yep.
Now, one thing I did mention at the beginning of this episode before we finish off, I was going to actually announce something. I didn't tell Kat this, but that's okay because she'll agree with me. We're going into September,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going into the silly season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, at Christmas time, there are people around the place, and I know people are sitting there going, "My God, it's only September, and it's 3 months to go before Christmas." I'm giving you guys enough time to
Hey,
get.
I've seen Christmas decorations up for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, we've already
Ugh.
got we've got stores, and we're going to be going to one store tomorrow because I want to go there. That's
Mm-hmm.
already got Christmas stuff up there because I'm a Christmas junkie.
No,
But
you're a
this is
Christmas
actually,
freak.
yeah, whatever, freak junkie, whatever. But this is a service announcement that we want to actually put out from PMS. There are a lot of people around the holiday season, the silly season, that are lonely, that don't have people to be with. Their family might be on the other side of the country or the other side of the world, and they might not have family or friends around them. And so at Christmas time, they're basically left by themselves to sit at home, maybe just watch Hallmark movies, but are feeling really down and depressed and lonely. So we here at PMS are putting out to everyone, if you are one of those people, we don't care where you are in the world. We want you to reach out to us and say, is there any chance Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, whatever, that you would be able to hang out with me for, a Zoom chat? We will definitely do that. just reach out to us and let us know. We will set up a Zoom chat where we can actually sit here and just, if you want to just sit here and talk about Big Bang, if you want to have some giggles, if you want to have some laughs, whatever, we're here because really, Kat and I are just going to be. Look, my son is over in America.
Yep.
My father is interstate. My sister is here in Adelaide, but we don't see her. I don't have any friends to call on. So really, essentially, all it is just Kat, myself, and Oliver sitting here Christmas Day or Boxing Day or Christmas Eve, just enjoying each other's company. So you are not going to be encroaching on our life. If you want to reach out to us, if you want to say, can I hang out with you guys for an hour and talk nothing other than Big Bang, we want to reach out to give everybody that opportunity. So I know I'm doing this in August, but I'm giving you guys enough chance. If you would like to do a Zoom chat with us through the Christmas season, through the Christmas holidays, let us know. We are here for you guys. We are normal people. We are not untouchable. We are not superstars of the podcasting industry. We are just two people who just talk about Big Bang. You're here because you love the Big Bang Theory. We want to be reached. Want to be able to be reached by everybody. We are not untouchable people. We're regular people. So we want to give the opportunity that if you want to reach out to us and hang out with us over the Christmas season, then please let us know. We will set up a Zoom chat and we can just hang out. That's all we want to do.
Yep.
So we are giving you guys that opportunity. So we'll mention it over the next coming 3 months as we get closer to Christmas. But we just want to put it out now that we are giving everybody the opportunity. If you want to just hang out with us, let us know. And look, if you want to hang out with us, we might end up by doing an episode. And that also, one more thing that I just want to also reach out to everybody. If you've got and this is for season 2, if you've got an episode of season 2 that you really love and you'd really love to be on our podcast doing an episode, let us know what episode that you actually really love in season 2, and we'll set up a Zoom chat and you can be a guest host on our podcast for that as well. So if there's some episode on season 2 and you're like, oh my God, that is my favorite episode, I'd really love to do that with you guys, reach out to us. We'll get it organized.
Definitely.
So that is the end of the public services announcement.
Okay. And if you also love what we're doing and would like to send us a coffee as a thank you, whether it's $1 or $10 or whatever, there is a link, a PayPal me link in the show notes and on the Facebook page, Facebook group, in the About section, or you can always email us at
Perpetual Motion Squad 00@gmail.com.
Cool. Awesome.
And also, when you do the like and subscribe, now a lot of people sit there and say, okay, liking, subscribing, reviewing, it doesn't do much. It actually does. It actually tells the algorithm in wherever you listen to, whether it's Apple Podcasts, whether it's Spotify, that you're really liking this podcast, and it actually boosts our
Visibility.
discoverability in all the podcasts.
Yeah.
So a lot of people sit there and go, well, I like it, but I don't have to sit there. And if you really like this podcast and you haven't done it before, we would really appreciate you just hitting that like button and subscribing to us. And when I say subscribe, just hit the follow notification. So whenever a new episode drops, you'll get the notification that we've dropped a new episode.
Yep.
And if you can get a review, that would be awesome. But it does help us in the algorithm.
Yep, definitely. Okay. So that's about it, other than to say if you know somebody who enjoys the Big Bang Theory, please invite them to join the conversation.
Absolutely.
Cool. So that's it for this week. We'll see you next time for season 2, episode 2, the Codpiece Topology.
I love this one.
And in the meantime, we'll catch up with you at the Cheesecake Factory.
Bye, everyone.